Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning back in. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Layla, the Lenormand reader, and I use the amazing Lenormand deck. So have a look at the website and all the links that I have for you so you can explore and master this amazing deck. Welcome to another weekly reading. Today we are doing a line of 7 with Titania's deck. So let's go ahead and start with you, Aries, and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Aries, here is your line of 7, and we do have some challenging cards at the top, the mouse and whip on either side of the bear. So obviously there's a challenge here, and I think it can be a confrontation or even competition. But what's really nice is the tree and anchor after that, and I have to say these two cards are very strong. They're even as strong as the bear. They stand their ground, and they're not moved. So when we see these cards after the challenges, it sounds like you can stand your ground in the face of this, Aries, and also it might not even move you or even get to you, and you could even be victorious over it. So you can win on this. Backing up earlier here, we have the ship and letter along with the mouse. This represents some challenging news, especially since we have the whip after. And I say that because normally the mouse is not such a huge deal, assuming you take care of it while it's manageable. The mouse and letter can also point to the fine print, and I think because of the bear and whip afterwards, there can be some things that you highlight, or perhaps parts of this news that are challenging or not aligned, and you have to bring them out into the open. Now, the bear is often a card of influence and authority, so it can represent someone in such a position. On the job, it could be a boss, or in some other areas, it could be, someone who has a say in things. And obviously, with the whip after that, it sounds like you have to confront this person with the content of the news or the outcome of the news, or what is going on here with the ship and letter. So this path, this journey, this project seems to run into trouble, and you have to deal with it. And the news itself might be something like misinformation or gaps, or hidden things in the fine print, and they need to come to light. So you definitely, Aries, want to bring these things out into the open. And again, the tree and anchor, like we said, very nice cards to see on the other side of this earlier part, because they are strong and solid cards. The anchor is also great for arriving at a conclusion. So it is good for resolving the issues. The tree is also a card of patience. So it can take a bit of time, but I think the primary way we read these two, the tree and anchor, is in terms of you being able to stand your ground, and I think also have the upper hand on these on the issues that come up here. It might also suggest, Aries, something like canceling a trip or canceling some projects and just sticking with what you're doing. That's because the tree and anchor are staying still cards, and the ship earlier is about journeys and changes. So when we see the letter, mouse, and bear and whip after the ship, there can be a compromise to the journey, the trip, or the project that is represented by the ship. So a cancellation or turning something down might be called for, and just sticking with what you're doing right now. And like we said earlier, Aries, there can be some problems that come up, or misinformation or gaps that need to be confronted and resolved. So that is maybe a challenging message, but the tree and anchor certainly helps resolve it and help you stand your ground. Now, looking at the pairs in here, we have the mouse and whip, and this is a challenging pair. It can point to a loss, it can point to other problems, but certainly the whip, especially with the bear, it suggests something like a confrontation, even an argument, but the idea of having to bring it out. The letter and tree is actually good news that grows into something fruitful. I suspect it can take time before it gets to this, because it has to go through this rectifying phase that we see here. The ship and anchor is nice for arriving at a conclusion. So like I said, the tree and anchor at the end of the line is quite reassuring to help us resolve these issues. I think it's going to take a bit of effort, Aries, but it's going to be worth it. And also, you can't let it slide. You have to deal with this. You have to bring things out into the open. Now, it seems to me the cards are focused on work, money, maybe travel. I'm not really seeing romantic cards, relationship cards, so I don't think it's about that area. And if it is, it's the same idea. There can be some news or some information that comes through that you confront the other person with. And there is a resolution of sorts. Yeah, in the very least, you're able to contain the situation. So let me know what you make of this, Aries. Let me know what the issue was with this piece of news, if this was a trip or some other kind of project, and if you were able to hopefully stand your ground, and if you're able also to confront this. I'd be really interested to know if you're willing to share. Thank you for tuning in, Aries. Very best of luck with the week, and until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Taurus, let's deal out your line of 7, and let's see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Taurus, here is your line of 7, and we do see a challenge with the snake and whip, but we also see a really positive resolution on the right-hand side of the line. The flowers, key, very nice for success and healing. We see them on either side of the dog, so it probably brings up a relationship. Now, the snake and whip is not an easy combination, Taurus, to be honest, to be fair to the cards. It can point to disappointment. It can point to a snake bite, so something hurtful. And it can point to a confrontation, probably after a time of silence. Now, the tree and lily and everything else actually is pretty calm and quiet and gentle. So it sounds like after this, shall we say, an outburst, things settle, the dust settles, and I think there is going to be quite a lot of clarity to resolve the issue. The tree, lily, and key are great for achievement, maybe even on a bigger scale, because the lily is about life and career and the picture in a bigger way, the picture of your life. The tree and key is achieving a very important goal. And then we have the dog and flowers, which is a healing and a renewal in a relationship. It's possible that the issue was with this person. And in fact, when we look at this pair, we have the whip and dog. So it's very likely that there was an issue with a person or an argument with someone, or a confrontation with this person. But it can also mean that someone else, like outside the challenge, brings you a solution. And in all cases, the flowers is lovely for healing and renewal. So in the relationship, whether it was the person you argued with or disagreed with, or it was someone else who gives you that element of renewal. So really, these cards are so bright, and they bring a lot of success and healing. And I think also quite a bit of excitement, because the tree and key can suggest a very important goal. The tree, lily, and key are very much being on the right path, and one that leads to success. And we see this, the results with the flowers here. So very beautiful cards. We read these two, and we also have the snake and flowers. This one is actually a tricky pair. I read this combination, Taurus, as suggesting someone who is false to your face or who was dishonest. And it could be part of the problem. It could be what is shown through, what comes through the surface. But again, after the snake and whip, we have a very beautiful set of cards that bring solutions and resolutions. Now, Taurus, these cards can take place in any context. Yes, the lily is a card of career, but it could also be about your life, your lifestyle in general. So not necessarily strictly about work. If it's about work, we could be looking at, one of those problems on the job, maybe an issue with a colleague. In a personal relationships, same idea. There's a confrontation or something that was not honest, not totally honest, and it's brought out and then resolved. So very nice cards, despite the initial challenges. It could also be an opportunity to solve a problem and to achieve something pretty significant. So I hope you will focus on the solution, Taurus, and be more solution-oriented, and also be open to forgiveness and to resolving this and coming on the same page with other people. So let me know what you make of this, Taurus. Let me know what the issue was, if you're willing to share, if it was directly with a person or was it about a situation and a person came in to help. I'd be curious to know if you're willing to share. Very best of luck with the week, Taurus. Thank you as always for tuning in, and until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Gemini, let's draw your line of 7 here and let's see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Gemini, here's an interesting line. There seems to be quite a lot going on in just these simple 7 cards. We have the Tower in the middle. The Tower can be a card of the past, but I think in this context, we're looking at something work-related, something official. Maybe it's an environment where you are connected with through work or some project. Earlier we have the Fox, and even though it's with the woman, which can mean someone deceptive, the Fox is also a card of jobs, and the Book and Tower can suggest knowledge or education. The Tower and Bear can refer to a boss or someone in authority, even someone like a CEO. So it sounds like, based on these cards, you are focused on something that's more or less official, work-related, possibly administrative. So the end of the line is positive. It brings a positive conclusion, thanks to the stork and anchor. But here, there's a bit of a quiet kind of energy. We have the Book and Fox, and both of these cards are silent cards, and we have them on either side of the woman. So it's possible that you had been waiting to hear back from this person. Maybe you are waiting on something official or administrative that maybe she's working on for you. It could also be that you're waiting for a response in terms of work or some other project, and it can take a bit of time. The Tower is also a card of time. But since this is a weekly reading and we have the stork and anchor at the end of the line, it's pretty likely, Gemini, that you get an answer finally. And so you're able to move forward, and there's a positive conclusion and a foundation to move forward. The stork and anchor can also suggest bringing something to conclusion, meaning to close. So completing something, wrapping something up. And it sounds like it's been pending, probably in the hands of this woman who had been maybe away or just maybe difficult to get through, but also, just the time it takes. And then we see the Tower and Bear, which can be someone in authority. And I think here there can be an important decision that is made or important support that brings things to conclusion or enables you to move forward with something. So these are good cards for work. You could get a project, you could get some kind of involvement, you could get a customer, all of these possibilities. Another thing I can suggest, Gemini, is potentially something like a promotion, because we have the Tower and Bear along with the stork, which are changes, for the better. And with the anchor, you could really get it, or at least get some concrete answers moving forward. In terms of the Book and Tower suggesting education, you could be pursuing some knowledge, Gemini, and maybe the Fox and Woman can represent a mentor or someone like a teacher or someone who can support with this. At the same time, the Fox and Woman is, always a combination that cautions you a little bit against certain characters. She could be someone who's a bit, selfish, not always compassionate, a bit self-interested. And so maybe, she could be a bit difficult in this way, like she drags things and you have to go after her and things like that, but not necessarily. Like I said, this can be supportive of work, jobs, projects, customers, other practical areas. And with the Book and Tower, it could have been some education, like we said, but also things taking a bit of time, requiring research, requiring going through the process and the steps. Again, so a bit of a slower pace here, but not without progress, as we see through the Bear, Anchor, Stork and Anchor. So this can be a really strong and positive conclusion to move forward. The Tower, Bear, and the Anchor are very strong and settled cards, and the Stork is like an event. So I think you have now the answers or the green light or the feedback that you need to move forward, and it sounds like it's a very positive conclusion and you are going to be on a solid foundation. So really good cards. We can look at the pairs here. We've got the bear and book, or book and bear. This can be, something that is on hold or hidden or not known yet. And it could be a big deal because of the bear. It can also be a mentor, and it could be someone who has a lot of knowledge and experience. And it could also be you, Gemini, pursuing knowledge and polishing your skills. So I think this is a supportive line pair. The woman and stork is action. So again, another confirmation that we hear back from this person. And the fox and anchor is great for a job, a project. And it's also a really good combination for discipline. So you need to do what you need to do. And I also think that you can get into a positive and productive routine. The cards are kind of impersonal. Even though we have the woman, we're not seeing personal relationships here, Gemini. I think this is more about the practical side of your life, moving forward with a process, following up, and getting going with the things that you need to do. And if this is an improvement, like a promotion or something big like that, then I think you're going to get busy, and you need to make sure you're setting the stage right for this work, for this involvement and the disciplines that come with it. So let me know what you make of these ideas, Gemini. Let me know in what context you felt they resonated for you. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Thank you for tuning in. As always, very best of luck with the week. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Cancer, let's get into your weekly reading. Let's deal out this line of 7 and see what is in store for you. Okay, Cancer, here is your line of 7. And it's a bit of a more challenging reading for you. I think the last few weeks were quite bright, but I can't say as much about this line, even though we have the lovely flowers and anchor at the end of the line, and we have the star, and these two are going to pair, and these two are going to pair. But this pyramid at the top, these 3 cards, they're challenging. We also have the mouse. So backing up to the star, mouse, and heart, along with the snake and whip, actually, Cancer, this is a very clear message that something is disappointing. Something that you had your hopes in, something that you wanted to pursue, you were hopeful about, falls through. It's not what it seemed, it's not what you wanted it to be. Maybe it was, and then something gets in the way, but it's very clear that something falls through. Now, the good news is that the flowers and anchor helps you recover, and even though I don't think this turns this situation around, I think you have a very good mindset and an optimistic attitude that creates a good foundation for you. And so you are going to get over it pretty quickly. And it is a weekly reading, so hopefully within the week. But these cards here, they're pretty strong, and they can affect the star. The star is an all-around happy card, but there's just too many of them after the star. So I think it tips the balance into suggesting something that you were hoping for falls through and doesn't work out. Now, what this thing is, I can't really tell, but we do have the heart and snake, and this is probably a relationship, something that involves a person or feelings. Because, they bring a bit of hurtfulness. The heart tends to be about feelings. So it can be something more personal, even though, we can be hurt in any context, not just with personal relationships. So again, the context specifically is kind of flexible with these cards. So you let me know, Cancer. We've got the heart and whip, and this is, a pretty clear message of a heartbreak or, a heartache, and something hurtful, something that affects your emotions. The mouse and flowers, especially in this order, is lovely because it points to a recovery and overcoming the challenges. And then the star and anchor is definitely a very beautiful message that brings healing and success, actually. And this confirms the flowers and anchor. So I think within the week, it's okay to expect, Cancer, that not all your expectations are going to pan out. It's okay to have a more balanced outlook on this, and something could fall through, and it could be potentially dramatic, Cancer, and it can, affect you emotionally on this level. But again, some really nice combinations here that suggest that you'll overcome this pretty quickly and find your, your anchor yourself in your positive attitude pretty soon. I also want to encourage you, Cancer, to let it go and also to be open to forgiveness and not holding grudges, not hanging on to resentment in any way. The flowers and anchor with the star, very beautiful cards for release and healing and the freedom that comes with that. So don't hang on, let it go, and soon enough your mind and your heart will turn around and you'll find yourself in a solid sense of optimism and positivity. So a bit of a difficult week, but not without a good turnaround. Let me know what you made of this, Cancer. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and your feedback. So thank you for tuning in. Very best of luck with the week. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Leo, let's draw your line of 7 and let's see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Leo, here is your line of 7, and it's mostly neutral. We do have the scythe, which can be challenging sometimes, and we have the cross and bird, so there can be a bit of a challenging, a more nervous kind of energy. But what seems to be happening here is that there is a breakthrough and an opportunity that you maybe have to take advantage of quickly. So it can feel a bit urgent, and that's the exciting part, or maybe the anxious part. But we see on the other side of the scythe that there is a meeting and some activities with people, with friends, or whoever the dog is in this environment that is represented by the garden. So that is probably a good thing. Now, earlier we have the bird and tower, which can be a conversation or some discussions with people, maybe people at the top, or something administrative or legal or official. It can also be in your workplace or in some other organization. And then we have the cross and scythe. So it sounds like there's a decision and some kind of breakthrough. And so the scythe in the center has that release and sudden energy that is in focus in the line. And then we have the dog with the stork and garden. And this very clearly points to meetings, gatherings, activities, things that are happening in this environment represented by the garden. And the dog is often a card of friends, colleagues, siblings, or whoever is in your peer group. And so here it sounds like there's a get together, or maybe there are some activities that you do together and you have to attend to this event or to this meeting or this environment. Now there is one thing here, is that we have the scythe right next to the dog, and if it weren't because of the stork and garden, this could have suggested some kind of separation or changes. I have to say also, Leo, what's possible here is some kind of restructuring. So if we're looking at the job or the workplace, these cards here, the decision, the conversations, the negotiations, and then the cuts, and then we have the changes in a certain environment that affects people. It is a very good line for suggesting a restructuring or such changes. And it doesn't have to be strictly on the job. There can be such changes in other situations as well. You can just let me know in the comments in what context you feel, if this is what applied. But there is, like we said in the first interpretation, there is that idea that you have to respond to a decision or some news or feedback a bit urgently, and then you have an opportunity here to connect with people or to go places or do things. And also, even though the tower, like these cards, they seem to me a bit more on the official side. So that's why I'm suggesting it could be work or something more official. But the cards can apply in other contexts. So something personal, for example. Maybe there was, you were waiting to hear from someone, or you were negotiating with them, or you were trying to get them to do something, or maybe they were trying to get you to get together, and then there is an opportunity to do that. So a few different scenarios are possible, but it's very clear that there's like a build-up up to the scythe, and conversations or talks and things like that. And then there's activity, changes, and events that you attend to. So I think it could be quite active. I'm not seeing very bright cards, but also we're not seeing challenging cards. So like I said at the outset, it's mostly neutral, but there is a sense of urgency that comes through, and possibly a bit of nervousness and anxiety from the cross and scythe and from the bird. And in some contexts, it can take on a more dramatic interpretation, Leo, where there could be cuts and changes, that affect an environment. And that could be, part of the urgency here as well. Now, the cross and dog can point to some helpful people. It can also, with the scythe here, it can point to decisions about certain people. The tower and stork is moving on. And because the tower is a card of the past, you could be moving on from a long-standing situation. Also works with this part of the line with the scythe, cross, and tower, where you might need to let go, move on from a situation that had been pending. The bird and garden is very good for get-togethers, networking, marketing, talking to people, being out there. So again, it seems to be pretty busy and active. It seems to be more social. It doesn't have to be personal or one-on-one or love relationships, but people are in focus through the dog, the garden, and then the bird, which, brings this element of conversation. So let me know what you make of these ideas, Leo. Let me know what was this urgency that came up, or this decision that was finally made, and what was this environment that you were connecting with. And if there was something a bit bigger, like a restructuring or, some of these bigger changes in whatever context. As always, I look forward to your feedback and your thoughts, Leo. Thank you for tuning in. Very best of luck with the week. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Virgo, let's get into your weekly reading. Let's draw this line of 7 and see what we have in store for you this week. Okay, Virgo, here is your line of 7, and it certainly doesn't mince words. And I have to say, this week is looking quite, there's quite a few of us that have challenges this week. In your case, Virgo, this is a very clear message of a separation. We have all the cards, and we have the strongest combination for this, which is the scythe and road. In the middle, we have the whip, and we have the road as well. The anchor could be potentially confusing in such a combination, because the anchor is about staying, but I think in this context it's definitely, because the anchor is also a card of certainty and security. So I think it's really just adding to not being hesitant or wobbly about these changes. Now, the book and fox, this is an interesting pair in this context. This is a card of secrecy and silence. And, it's interesting, we kick off the line with these cards. It could be telling you to just go about your own thing and make the changes that you need to make and let go. So you don't need to make a fanfare about it, but you do need to be pretty aggressive with the decision and with the changes. It's also possible, Virgo, that the book and fox can mean someone who is not communicating, or it can be something that is not coming through. And so the rest of the line would suggest just dropping it and moving on. The road and whip is very much about a difficult path and also a change, because the road is a card of choices, and with the whip here, you need to let something go, and of course it's also a difficult path. And then we have the anchor. Like I said, you have to here, instead of it suggesting to stay, it's more about really standing behind yourself with these changes and not wobbling about them. And the scythe and ring is very much about a divorce. This is the strongest combination of a separation. And actually the scythe and anchor is very good at suggesting releasing the ball and chain. So freeing yourself from restrictions, from anything that is binding you or limiting you in some way. So very, very clear cards. Now the road and anchor would normally suggest arriving at a destination. And it can be that. It can be that you are letting something go and moving on to arrive at something else. But because of the strength of these, whip, scythe, and ring, and these separation cards, I think the anchor, like I said, is a card of certainty and strength, and it asks you to not wobble and to stand behind your decision. The fox and scythe can be someone hurtful, and it can be a trap or a scam or something like that plays out. And this is what you could be dealing with and needing to move away from and, overcome and move on. But it can also point to, in terms of people, someone hurtful, and, this probably leads to the separation, so a fallout. Quite interestingly, the book and ring is a combination that suggests a contract or an agreement. So it's really interesting to see it here. It is possible that, you have something else that you can move to, and that's the reason you are letting go of the current situation. But I also think that it's possible that you could be moving in a bit of a mysterious direction. We have the road and whip. It can bring up surprises or bumps as you have to move away and release yourself from this situation. But actually, in terms of agreements and contracts with the book and ring, the fox is also a card of jobs or projects and other, such involvements. So maybe you now have another option, and you can resign or, change what you're doing and move into a new direction. So these are a few possible scenarios, but I think I don't think, it's very clear. The main message from these cards, and it's so clear, is that there is potentially a big change, a breakup, a separation that is probably pretty deep for you this week, Virgo. So, and it doesn't sound like an easy transition. We have the whip in the middle. We have some very sharp cards. We have the fox. We don't have bright cards. We have neutral cards and a couple of challenging ones, and a clear separation. Of course, separations can be positive. Yeah, it could be a welcome release. But with the whip and fox, and the fox and scythe, I feel there can be some challenging episodes, some challenging things that you are going through, Virgo. But very clear to stand behind your decision to make this change and to move on and to let go. So you're going to need to be pretty sharp with the decision, and I think also pretty sharp with the action. And hopefully on the back of this, you have another opportunity which gives you this ability to make a deep change. Let me know what you make of these ideas, Virgo. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Libra, let's get into your line of 7 and let's see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Libra, here is your line of 7, and it's one of the much brighter ones this week. Quite a few of us have challenging cards. You just have the mouse at the beginning, and then the rest of the cards are so powerful and positive. We have the flowers, the sun, the star, the key. These are very powerful and positive cards. So clearly they bring wish fulfillment, happiness, success, and healing across any context. And the cross in the middle can highlight something important. I could have suggested that it points to a decision, but with these cards, I'm not so sure. I think this is more about things that are meant to be, are materializing, and there is a sense of significance to what is being achieved here. And I think it is all aligned with your purpose and the deeper currents of your life. So these are very beautiful cards that bring success, wish fulfillment, healing, breakthroughs, and opportunities across just about any context. Very, very bright cards. And they certainly bring a wonderful conclusion. And the mouse, as a challenging card, is really not a big deal unless you ignore it, and then it grows into bigger issues. And that's because the mouse eats away at things. So the longer you ignore it, the more it's going to eat away at the issue. So at the end, you end up with a much bigger issue. So the main advice of the mouse is to take care of things while they are small and manageable. And obviously, in comparison with these beautiful cards, the mouse is much smaller. So the issue that comes up is not going to be a huge deal, because obviously you're going to be able to overcome it pretty easily. We see it with the letter, and this typically points to news, messages, communication of all sorts. And so there could have been here a delay, or perhaps some issues or problems, or missing information or misinformation. But obviously with these cards and the rest of the line, it is very positive, and whatever probably small issue that we saw with the mouse and letter is easily overcome. It can also be a delay that finally comes through, and you get the positive answers and this wonderful feedback, or the green light, or the possibly even something like an award or a certificate, or something that makes you shine, because these are such beautiful cards that I think they add some importance, at least, to the letter. So some very beautiful cards here. The flowers and sun is all around success and healing, just like with the other combinations. And the flowers is also a card of return and renewal. So it sounds like, the idea of a delay is likely, or things that were wrong are rectified. And you land in a very positive space or situation. The letter and star answers your hopes. This is very good news and positive feedback. And like I said, there can be a sense of honors, because, these are really shiny cards. And the mouse and key very much points to a resolution to a problem, and also a recovery. So I think with the flowers and key and these beautiful cards, if you had gone through a loss, or you were wronged, or, something fell through, you can get it back. It's not that you just overcome it and move on, but I think you can recover it and get it back. There aren't people cards. We're not seeing money, work cards, because they're all around positive cards. So it's actually a pretty general message here. So you let me know, Libra, in what context this beautiful message hopefully materialized for you, and what was the issue with the letter or the news here that we saw initially. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Thank you for tuning in, Libra. Very best of luck with the week. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Scorpio, let's get into your line of 7, and let's see what is in store for you. Okay, Scorpio, here is your line of 7, and very clearly brings into the picture a relationship. We have the man and ring, and on top of that we have the beautiful moon and sun, which usually represents love. So clearly this is a focus on a relationship, and we've got the beautiful sun in the middle, and the tree, and the ring. So these are really good cards for a relationship. The book, cross, and moon can be an invitation or an offer or a proposal. And with the sun, I think there's a clear yes to this proposal. And then we see the man, tree, and ring building and growing in this relationship. This is an evolving, a developing relationship. And the tree has an element of peace. So it sounds like you're comfortable and at ease with this person. Now, I think because of the moon and sun, it's mostly a love thing. But if it's not, it's still really good for a collaboration. And this person seems to be really nice, and I think there is trust. There's a sense of, letting go of the relationship, like not trying to control anything, not trying to do anything. It's just sort of, at ease. We really feel that in the cards. The moon and man can suggest an invitation or also attraction. And the cross and tree is something really important evolving here. And again, there is an element of letting go. Often the tree is a passive card, it's sort of really laid back and relaxed. And the cross, it can be a bit challenging, but it is also a card of destiny, and it can mean that things are out of your hands, usually in a negative way or in a difficult way. But with the tree and this beautiful overall message here, it's more about just letting go, and things are evolving on their own time. So you can't really rush it. You can't do much about it. It's just, the relationship takes its time. The book and ring is very much a combination of a proposal. And so it sounds like in the relationship, it's, you're getting closer to each other, and the connection is deepening. And so there's a very nice evolution here. And like I said, Scorpio, it sounds like this is more personal, whether you are in a relationship or wanting to get to know someone. These are really great cards. But they work as well, and in a positive way as well, in the same way, in any other context. So if this is about work, you could get a job. If this is about projects or customers, you could get one as well. With other people or other things that you're doing in your life, there are agreements and a good understanding, a very positive collaboration. There is a slower feel to the cards, and that's fine. Everything seems to be peaceful and at ease, and it sounds like you just need to allow this relationship to unfold, or this involvement, or whatever agreement you're getting into here to grow. So it's a very easygoing spread, very positive vibe with this person, a really good connection, and a good situation to be involved in. Let me know what you make of these ideas, Scorpio. I hope you resonate with them. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. So very best of luck with the week. Thank you for tuning in, and until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Sagittarius, let's do your line of 7 and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Sagittarius, here is your line of 7. We have quite a few very positive cards. We have the sun and tree, and the star and flowers. At the same time, we do have the whip at the end of the line, which can bring up a disappointment, or maybe things do not work out in the way that you want. Now, I'm not seeing that this is necessarily a whole game changer, but I do think that there are some issues that you're going to need to deal with in order to make this good stuff happen. We also have the scythe in the middle of the line, and the scythe is a card of separations, release, and breakthroughs, and it can also be something sudden. And I think with the whip there is a bit of a sudden or an urgent energy here that comes through. And it also comes in contrast with the earlier cards. So these cards are slower and more peaceful. We have the tree and lily. These are slow cards, and the sun is an all-around bright combination. So some really good things are evolving here. You are on the right track, but then I think there is a change, or maybe a breakthrough that comes through. This is definitely a combination that advises you to take your time and to allow things to unfold. And the sun is very beautiful. It suggests success, and it sounds like you are on the right track. It's also likely that because of some positive achievement, you're on a growth phase now, or, in the context of work, maybe you're lining yourself up for a promotion or some kind of improvement here. Now, with the scythe and star and flowers, I do think that a breakthrough opportunity comes through and materializes. So you're waiting on it to happen. It's very likely that it's going to happen, and it does. However, the whip at the end of the line, it is normally a challenging card, and it can suggest problems or issues or disappointments. So while things materialize in the way that you want, I do think there could be a surprise element, or maybe it's not very much a surprise that needs to be dealt with. And the thing about the whip is that because it's at the end of the line, I can't really tell in what context the issue is or what the problem is exactly. And the cards next to it, the flowers and the sun with which it pairs, suggest that you can overcome this problem. Even though it's not the ideal order, it's more ideal if the positive card is after the whip, but we have the flowers with the star and the sun, and these are some pretty bright cards. So I do think that you are in a position to resolve it, but the idea is that something comes up after your goals or your hopes materialize. Now, the lily and star is beautiful for different contexts. It's great for work and career. You could be making some career changes or a job change. You could also be making some lifestyle changes, and there can be improvements with health and your energy overall. The tree and flowers can also support this because the tree has a side that is related to health as well. And the flowers is all around positive energy and healing and all around success as well. So two very beautiful combinations. The sun and whip is a little bit challenging because of the order of the cards, but the sun is also pretty powerful in terms of how positive it is. So you can look forward to overcoming the issue here. So the issue comes up, yes, but you're not without first, a great attitude to deal with it, and second, solutions. So overall, this line, Sagittarius, points to growth and opportunity. And it seems to happen maybe with urgency, and it comes with a few problems. So it can feel like, there's a lot and it's a bit loaded, but there's still a lot of very positive cards. Now, I'm not seeing people cards. I'm not seeing money cards. I'm seeing, the tree and lily can point to health. And so there's very positive developments here with some problems, but still really good developments. It could be about your life path or your direction in general, your lifestyle, or possibly your work. But I'm not really seeing people cards. In case it is about people, I think that's pushing the cards a little bit, but just in case it is for you, Sagittarius, I think that there can be some positive developments and ways forward and hopefulness in the relationship, but I still think there are some issues that need to be dealt with. Still, a positive attitude, optimism are very, very much highlighted here through the sun, star, and flowers. Let me know what you make of this, Sagittarius. The cards, apply in different contexts, so I'd appreciate your thoughts, your feedback, and how it resonated with you. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you as always for tuning in, and until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Capricorn, let's get into your line of 7 and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Capricorn, here is your line of 7, and it's a lovely line because of the sun and flowers at the end, and it overcomes a few challenges that we see here. So we have the house, letter, and bird. This is an announcement. It's news or it's communication with certain people, probably the woman. The bird and mouse are not the brightest of cards, especially together. And they're not the most dramatic cards either. They're not a huge deal, but they do bring annoyances, some differences, and a few issues, and some nervousness and anxiety around this woman here. And the house is usually home and family, so it can apply to someone in your home, a family member, or it can apply to any other context. Usually the house represents smaller environments like your group on the job, your team, or some other groups that you're part of, or your home. But the sun and flowers is very beautiful. It is an all-around success pair. Each of them on its own is a healing card, and it brings success and a sense of relief. So it's very clear that whatever issues come up with this woman in this context, in this place, are resolved. I also think that you could be releasing something. Maybe it's been a bit of a drag, and the flowers has a sense of renewal that helps you overcome this situation here. So if you had been, for example, wanting to have a conversation and you couldn't, at this point you can, and even though it's maybe a somewhat difficult conversation, it still works out really nicely. You could also be working through some problems that this woman is facing and resolving them together, and things work out really nicely. And also news maybe that had been dragging or had some gaps or difficulty is also resolved. So a very clear message here, Capricorn, very clear that things materialize positively with this person, and that any issues that come up are resolved. The bird and mouse are a challenging pair. This could, they're not super challenging, but they bring this, challenge with the conversation, with the tension. It's not really smooth, and that's what you're looking to resolve. The letter and sun is very good news that materializes, and the house and flowers can be a celebration and good times in this environment. So again, this conversation pays off, Capricorn, and the news is resolved, or whatever is the issue is resolved with this person. And like I said, the house and woman can apply in different contexts. So this could be something at work, in your home, in some other context of your life. The challenges or the tension or the difficulty is resolved. So a very straightforward reading. Let me know what you make of it, Capricorn. Leave me a thought or comment if you're willing to share who was this woman, what the issue was, and the context. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Thank you for tuning in. As always, very best of luck with the week, and until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Aquarius, let's get into your line of 7 and let's see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Aquarius, here is your line of 7. It's looking really nice and productive. It sounds like you're going places, doing things, getting busy, and it's looking really productive. You're achieving things. Things could go well with your work, your projects, possibly customers. It looks like there are meetings and get-togethers, and it's all towards your goals, and it's progressing in a positive way. So a pretty straightforward line with a very positive overall energy and outcome. So with the Rider, Garden, and Road, we have both the Rider and Road are travel cards on either side of the Garden, which is a meeting place. It could be public or maybe in the outdoors or something like that. And it's definitely a good opportunity to be with people and to connect with them. The Flowers is a lovely card all around. It brings success and healing and also celebration. So maybe there are some good times here. And the Fox is sometimes deceptive. It can be someone who's self-interested, a bit of a trickster. But it is also the card of work and jobs and discipline and routine. And on either side, we've got the Flowers and Key. So these are some really bright cards. So I don't think the challenging aspect of the Fox comes up as much. Instead, we're seeing that your work and your projects are doing well, and you're doing well, and things are paying off. And the Ship further supports this. The Ship is a card of projects, trade, sales, all sorts of activity that is related to business and selling and things like that. It is also a card of travel. So maybe you're, with these cards as well, maybe you're going somewhere and it certainly works out. So really good cards here with your work, your projects in general, going places, getting together with people, enjoying some good times. Really all around positive cards. The Road and Fox, would be a more or less neutral card. It's very good with moving forward and doing the things that you need to do, continuing on your path, doing the right disciplines. If the Fox is a bit challenging here, I think you've got answers and solutions, and you know how to be nice, so be nice. And also you know how to move forward as well. So nothing hangs you up. There's no obstacles or anything like that, no. The Garden and Key is great for success in a certain environment. These connections here and this place has very positive outcomes for you. And clearly you do well in here. You could also be coordinating an effort or, managing a group and, at work or in some other context, and things work out really nicely. The Rider and Ship, great for progress, great for forward movement, and also good for travel. If you're taking trips or going certain places, these are some really good cards. So Aquarius, overall, a very straightforward line. Good things happening here. Your work is paying off. You're on the right track. Things are good with people, with doing things, getting things done. And so it's pretty productive, and all the while it's happy and successful. So pretty straightforward line. I hope this works out for you in this way, or you resonate with it in a positive way. Let me know, Aquarius, what this was about. What were those environments or trips or things that you were doing? As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Thank you for tuning in. Very best of luck with the week. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Pisces, let's get into your weekly reading. Let's draw this line of 7 and see what's in store for you. Okay, Pisces, here is your line of 7. And it's an interesting line, mainly because of the whip. Without the whip, it would just be a very positive reading, very good with people and friends. But then we have the whip at the end of the line that can rock the boat a little bit. So I have to wonder what this is about exactly. Let's back up. We've got the letter, key, man, and dog. So very good communications here, positive answers, maybe even opportunities and breakthroughs that open up for you. And it can be in connection with this person. So this person is either someone you connect with and there's a really good friendship and support, or it could be someone who brings you answers and solutions. The cross and star is quite a pair. It often suggests something pretty important, and it suggests your bigger dreams, your bigger goals. So you could be on the right path for this, and this person could support you towards achieving these goals. But at the end of the line, we have the whip, and the whip is a little bit challenging. Well, it is the most challenging card of the deck, actually. But with the star, which is an all-around happy card, it sort of minimizes the impact of the whip. But it's still in this order. So the whip after the star. So there can be something disappointing, or there can be obstacles in the way of this opportunity materializing. And so this is what would be the focus for you this week, Pisces, the need to see how you resolve this, how you get it out of the way in order to embrace this opportunity that is connected with this person. Now, in what context this is happening, I don't have cards here to be able to suggest that, Pisces. So it can be flexible. It's flexible. It could be something personal, a personal relationship or a friend. It could be work related, where you've got an opportunity, but there are still, some obstacles to work out. And it could be in any other context. So this person can be pretty much anyone, but usually the man and woman, they usually represent people who are pretty significant to us. So it's exciting, but not without some challenges within the week, Pisces. So see how you work them and how you overcome them. The man and cross suggest someone who's pretty important to you, and we have them on either side of the dog. So this is highlighting the connection. So there is a friendship here that isn't focused, or a colleague or someone else. This is a pretty important person for you. The key and star are a very beautiful combination for success, healing, and all sorts of good things, wishes materializing. So a very beautiful pair here that really highlights the success that is in store for you. And the letter and whip is the challenging pair with the whip, which points to some difficult news or perhaps urgent news. So the whip can rock your boat. It could come unexpectedly, or it could be stressful. Even though it's a good opportunity, it could be stressful. And this is the element that needs to be resolved. And I think once you do that, you can embrace the beautiful opportunity here that seems to come with this man. So very interesting set of cards, a bit curious, I have to say. Let me know how it played out for you, Pisces, who this person was and what the challenge was, and what this good stuff is. So it's interesting how they come together. So I'd be interested to learn more about your specific scenario if you're willing to share. So let me know what you make of these ideas, Pisces. Again, very best of luck with them. And I hope you resonate with all of this positive messaging here and this lovely relationship. Again, let me know in the comments. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself.